All right, what's up, everybody? We are here to talk about the last arc, the last three episodes of Andor season 2. And overall, so far, me and Matt's been going down, breaking down some of the things and just talking about different things we liked or disliked about the show. But I think overall, we have came all the way up to this point pretty positive on the show. Probably the weakest thing that we had was probably the first arc of the first three episodes. Uh, I think that was probably the part we were the most negative about. But with that being said, man, let's talk about what we've seen and how this season ended. Matt, man, take it away.
Yeah, this is a pretty good ending to the show. Overall, this is probably my favorite Star Wars show they put out for sure. Um, Story was really good. I kind of want to watch Andor now. I mean, not Andor, Rogue One
Yeah.
to see just to see like how it all plays in now. But yeah, I liked it a lot. It was pretty good.
I think it makes Andor overall better, but I do think I mean, not Andor, but it makes Rogue One overall better. But there is a couple of little things because there's not a big time gap between this and Rogue One. And you have those times where it looks like Cassian is kind of confiding. You even have that ending moment on the screen where Andor and Jane Urso, bites the dust and they're holding on to each other and stuff almost like
Yeah,
romantically. And to me, the show, although very good, it doesn't look good in the movie whenever he's already, not really saying that he's completely 100% falling in love, but there's definitely hints of attraction and stuff there. And he just had like this woman that he loved, leave so that he could do what he needed to do for the rebellion. So and then we
yeah,
find out in Andor, this we're going to be talking about spoilers that Bix, the lady that he was in love with for a pretty good while, uh, her real reason for leaving was the fact that she was pregnant.
yep,
She was
yeah,
getting the
that's
hell out
cool.
of she was getting the hell out of Dodge because she didn't want that to be something that stopped Andor from doing what he needed to do to be able to stop the Empire. What'd you like? Did you like
Yeah,
that we saw Bix and that they ended up knowing that Andor had a kid?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought that was a cool touch. Just to see that maybe his legacy will live on and shit through someone else, or something. I don't know.
And I'll say this, especially for Disney Star Wars, if you watched Andor throughout season one, season two, I have to say the best fleshed out, coolest character they've ever put together um, has got to be Luthen to me. I
Oh yeah,
that guy, that character to me was the most interesting. He was cool. He was well acted, well written. He had a complete arc. You get to see him at the very beginning, like what he's got to do. He's a little conniving and this and that, but he's trying to do the thing that needs to be done, make tough decisions, and
yeah.
and then he'll end up. He had to be basically taken out because if he was still alive, he would be tortured until they possibly gave up some stuff. And
Yep.
it fit like from the beginning to end. His character fit throughout. Like that was almost like a. It's weird to say because he gets killed, but it was almost like this. Like I don't man shit. I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but it, it was kind of just. It was meant to be kind of thing, right? It was one of those
Yeah.
things like fate. Uh, he lived and died by the sword, and then directly, right? Like that fits him 100% perfectly. But I think his story throughout was super good. I love his story we got from here. I love the fact that that one guy comes up to him, is like, "Hey man, this is the big news, but you need to get me out of here now because things are happening and all this." And he has to kill that guy, even though that guy gave him a useful piece of information. He went through with just killing that guy because he can't have any information get loose out there. And then on top of that, he gets confronted and the ISB lady. Why am I brain farting on her name, man? I do that. I'm like the worst with people's names, but
The
we had the we had the lady, the main character, one of the main characters from the ISB. She comes in and she's like, "Hey, she finally found him and all this stuff. Like, who's been the one behind the scenes doing a bunch of this stuff?" and he's pretty much caught, and he does the whole like suicide thing, basically like trying to kill himself
Yeah.
and everything, and then like it doesn't work. He's barely alive, but he can't talk yet, and all this stuff. So the Empire's trying to keep him alive so they can try to get information from him. And then the lady that's worked for him this whole time, like inside the little museum thing that they had, art place or whatever it was, like selling art and stuff to people, went and does her thing and like has to take him out, man.
That was the girl that he. That was the girl that he saved.
Yeah, and like we got some of her backstory, which I thought was cool too,
Yeah.
like how he bumped into her at the very beginning, and uh, of her, like she was like a child at the time and stuff like that, and like uh, I thought they did that whole thing really well. I even liked her backstory. Like I didn't think that was like boring or dumb. I thought that added to the
Yeah.
story. But yeah, man, what do you think overall, like of Luthen, man, and like his character arc, even from season one all the way to now? Uh, do you agree with me on that? You got some pushback?
Yeah, no, no, no. He was a cool character, and you saw it when Andor was telling all those people. All this was because of Luthen and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Or that he wanted people to know that that dude was like the grand master of it all.
Yep. Yeah,
It,
he
yeah,
he,
no,
he
I liked
did.
him a lot.
And what'd you think about the girl that he saved all throughout this time, and having to make that decision of taking him out? Like, you think they did that pretty well? Like, I really think they did that really good. I actually liked her character as well. I thought, especially when I got a little bit of her backstory about like how she even got up with Luthen and everything, I thought
Yeah.
kind of completed her story. And then when she goes in there and he can't like wake up or anything, but she starts to shed a tear, gives him like a kiss on the forehead, you know what I'm saying, and then takes his ass out. Like,
Hmm.
I thought that was like poetic, man. I thought it was poetic.
Yep.
I thought she done like a really good job with it and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could tell it hurted her to do it. It was a hard ass decision to make, but for the good of the rebellion and shit and what he was trying to do, she had to do it.
Yeah, and I thought even Mon Mothma was done very well. I never really cared for Mon Mothma. She was just this little background character, like in the major old school movies. And then we got a little bit more of her, say, like in the prequels and stuff like that, but not even a huge amount there. I actually thought this was one of the coolest portrayals about Mon Mothma. So now, if I go back and watch the original trilogy, I'm going to be sitting back going like, "Oh man, you know what? Mon Mothma's pretty cool." She's not
Yeah.
just this lady that's standing up there wearing her white robe and telling people a couple of things that they have to go do on a mission in A New Hope or whatever to try to take out the Death Star. Like, uh, uh, I think she's done very well here, and fully capsulizes her story. And I thought that like the stuff she went through, with like her daughter getting married and that stuff going on, and then her being kind of like naive to the fact that real things and real decisions are going to have to be made, like her friend that ends up getting killed after like that first arc, the first 3 episodes that we got, and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. I thought was done really well. Like the speech she gave, the way she was handling things, even when they got uh, there on the base, I thought was done pretty well, man. Did you agree with that assessment as well? I mean, did you like Mon Mothma in the series?
Yeah, all the characters on the show were really fleshed out. They did a good job of that. Um, yeah, she was cool. It was I like seeing her go from politician to rebellion leader and shit. That was a cool transition.
I'll tell
She
you this, like a. Oh, go ahead. I thought you
Go
was
ahead.
done.
No, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, uh, listen, I'm like other people. I love when there is like some cool battles and action. Like I like that stuff, but I like it even better when it's set up. So like you go back to something like the Game of Thrones, and you get the Battle of the Bastards, one of the coolest like fight things you'll ever see, like a little war battle thing that you'll ever see on screen, even in the movies. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
uh, but what makes that so good is the story you got leading all the way up to that,
yeah,
right? And I just think people like are starting to get like we was talking in the Discord earlier with one of our editor Danny and stuff was there, and he was asking me about Andor. And one of the things I said was like we got this culture now that's in these like short form video takes and stuff like that, doing TikToks and everything. And that's what they want. They just want repeated action, 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 something going on, something going on, something going on. And to me, that's like we got to kind of break out of that when we're talking about entertainment, because not everything needs to be like action, 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 action. We need to sit down so that when we do get the action, it's good. And one of the perfect examples is we're doing a rewatch right now of the MCU. So like we've already watched Iron Man 1, did a review. We're going to be doing a review night on tonight sometime on uh, Iron Man 2. We've already done one on the newer Incredible Hulk one as well, like of the old ones, because we're going back to the beginning. And when I'm watching Iron Man 2 and I compare it to Iron Man 1 to me was way better because it had setup, right? Like he had to go through being captured and all this stuff, right? It wasn't action all the time. It showed him like slowly being able to build his new suit. We were setting up the characters behind the scenes, like the person that ended up being bad that was supposed to be his friend with the company and stuff like that. And you had a couple of character moments and stuff. And then you had the fight at the end and all that stuff. There was like build up for it, and it just made it better. Whereas I'm watching Iron Man 2, and a criticism I'll have going back and watching it is it tried to be just action, 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 a joke here, a joke here, a joke here, action, joke, action, a joke. We didn't really get any like character development. There was no like, let's build these characters, like have them have conversations about things that are going on around everything else. It was like joke, action, action, joke, action, joke. Maybe a little bit of a serious moment that was only like a few minutes and it went back to something else. And it just kept jumping all over the place and stuff like that. And like in this, I really enjoyed the fact that the stuff when we did get action and stuff, a lot of times it meant something. You know what I'm saying? Like when we had the massacre, you know, a couple of episodes ago, like that to me was like really set up. We got to spend time with a couple of these characters. So like whenever they're getting taken out and shot and killed, you know, by the Empire, it like hits a little harder because you actually got to spend some time with those characters, and it was done pretty well. You know, like I just thought that was good. Like, and people can like it or not. So like, there's the couple that was like the lesbian couple that, you know, was able to get back together, like in that one episode. Right.
Yeah.
And, you could tell they really do love each other, and they've been split apart because they've been having to do all these missions and everything. They finally get to do a mission together and are getting to spend time together. They get to reconnect and everything else. And then that one girl, because somebody doesn't listen to the rules and thinks they have to bring a blaster or whatever, ends up getting shot out of nowhere and killed. Like it hit a little bit because it's like you understood like a little bit of their background. You understood why they felt the way they felt, kind of situation and stuff like that. And that just makes it better to me. And all that. And I think the show done a pretty damn good job of it, you know, and all that. I mean, do you agree with that, or do you just want like action, action, action?
No, yeah. Everyone had a stake in something, you know, like on both sides, the Empire and the Rebellion. So you got to see, you know, what everyone was fighting for or what they're trying to keep the peace for. It was cool.
One of the best things that I can say that I liked about this show too was the fact that the Empire wasn't just dummies.
Yeah.
The Empire was competent. They got things done. They were really smart and intelligent with what they had, but it also proved like how hardcore the Empire was. You know, like the ISB agent that was there for so long in the story, the older guy with the white hair, like, you know, he's kind of like charge of the ISB and whatnot. And basically because he made like one or two decisions at the end there that possibly could have caused somebody to get away with the information they were trying to hide so much, he just sits in there in that room and puts a blaster to his head.
Yep.
Like that's pretty crazy on showing how hardcore like the Empire was and stuff. And then seeing even you know, the ISB lady, I cannot believe right this moment I can't damn think of her name right off the bat. But the blonde headed lady, like we got to see her story. Got to see it throughout the whole thing, man. And she just like her pride got the best of her. Her wanting to be the one to find this out and put herself above all this other things. Made the relationship she was in with Cyril, like made that fall apart. And then she turns around and gets right here, and this is one chance of her becoming like something special. Maybe even the Emperor would want to see her after this, right? Yeah. She catches a guy leading the rebellion, so she goes in there by herself, which is a little dumb, but makes sense for her character. And then he tries to kill himself, and then they end up looking at her like, what the hell are you doing? Why didn't you tell me this, this, or this, so we could have took care of this in the right way and all this stuff, and she's in trouble about it and everything. and like we find out she's going to be in a jail cell for God knows how long or whatever.
Yep.
Uh, and she's
Same
obviously
one
upset.
Andor was in.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was the same one, but it looked like the same type.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that, but it did kind of look like the kind of jail cell that Andor was in for a little while. Uh,
Hmm.
Also, love the fact that we got some K2SO. He's one of the coolest droids. I have to
Yeah.
give Disney Star Wars that too. They that droid is one of the coolest droids in Star Wars as a whole. Um, I mean, if I got more of K2SO, like as far as like being a droid and more stories, I probably would end up loving him even more than R2D2 or C3PO. To be honest with you, I just love the dry humor and everything. Just cracks me up when he's going around and like grabbing random like people and throwing them against crap and
Yeah.
everything. It's just like amazing. It looks really cool.
Yeah. That
And
that that droid series can wreck people.
oh yeah, no, that it ain't no joke, bro. They just like kicking people and they flying 20 feet back and all this shit. Like it's
And
crazy.
he was shooting blasters and shit too. Like they
Oh
were.
yeah, no, yeah. And I remember Rogue One, even though I didn't know this part of his story, right? Just knowing the stuff that was going on in Rogue One, I thought he was a kick-ass droid, and then he stayed behind to deal with the control so that they could stay locked behind, while they're trying to actually get the plans on Scarif, and he gets blasted by a whole bunch of people, taken out
Yeah.
eventually. But it almost makes you sad for a robot, right?
Hmm.
You're like, oh damn, why did the robot have to go?
Yeah, because he
Kind of
really
situation.
cared for Cassian. You could tell.
But yeah, like I said, this season was really super good. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I do think that me and you both, maybe you not as much as me, but like we just had serious issues with like the first three episodes and some of the things that went on in those first three episodes. Uh, but besides that, I think they like picked up the ball and ran with it from that point on. It was just like more and more better story. Then we started getting to the anticipation of like what's to come, like how is this going to happen, what's going to happen on Gorman and everything else, and uh,
Yeah.
this is overall just super enjoyable. I could sit here and talk about it for a while, but it is one of my truly favorite things that I ever have seen, especially in Disney Star Wars, but and Star Wars as a whole. I think it's a ridiculously good show, and to be honest with you, because the fact they don't have all the like the only thing that you would say is they name dropped the Emperor a decent amount, but they really had to. They weren't going to be able to avoid talking about the Emperor. But there was no real talk of Darth Vader or anything in here, so you really didn't have to know that much about Star Wars to sit down and watch and enjoy this series. To be perfectly
Yeah.
honest with
Yeah. For a show that's about a character that we know that died already, you know what I mean?
you. Mm-hmm.
They put a ton of stuff in it.
Yep.
From series the first season to the second, like they put a lot of story into this dude, and that was cool because when you hear
Yeah.
about it, you might most people. I mean, not most people, but some people might be like, "Ah, why do I even want to watch this shit?" Dude's
Yeah.
dead.
That's what's amazing to me is because I wasn't excited about this show because it is a character that we know dies. He wasn't like the super best interesting thing ever, like even in that movie to me. And then I end up watching the show because I'm a big Star Wars fan. And season one, I was like, all right,
Yeah,
I see what's going on. And then like season two does good as well. And I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Like I'd never even thought and dreamed of that I would think that this is one of my favorite Star Wars shows, like in production when you had things that like we've had before it. I
yeah,
definitely think Mandalorian season 1 and 2 were pretty good. But if you want to go story right, like that was good because it was a fun adventure style thing, which is fine.
mm,
But like this is good because to me it's like put together. It looked beautiful. Like all the different things that you could critique inside the show was above average. Like all of it. I
yeah,
think the music was pretty good. I think like the acting was really done really well. The direction was good. The writing overall was like pretty damn good, top notch stuff going on there. The production design and all that was like super ass great. That's one thing you'll never be able to say about the show is like, bro, it looks amazing.
yeah,
It looks super good. It looked like they that Star Wars was real. Like we had
yeah,
space travel and somebody traveled to another galaxy and was on like a planet in that galaxy and was just kind of observing stuff that was going on. Like that's how like just really good it looked and everything else. And there wasn't nothing in here as far as characters or anything like that that I was just like, oh, that don't feel like Star Wars. Like all of
Yeah.
it to me felt like Star Wars. Now it was a more grown up version of Star Wars, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Now the sad part is it didn't. It hasn't. Maybe hopefully it picks up legs and a lot of people start watching it even after it's already aired. Maybe a lot of people will go and binge it now since it's done, and maybe the good word of mouth will get around, and more people will get interested in it. But the problem is, it's not been watched by a shit ton of people, and people like Disney and shit like that's not going to take like the right damn thing from this. They're going to be like, well, see, we tried to do a show like this and nobody watched it. Well, it's because all the other shit you put out before it ain't been good for a little while.
Yeah.
People's lost some faith. It's not all on this show that like they didn't watch it, and it was on a character, like you said, that nobody was truly excited for. They just ended up watching the show because they're big Star Wars fans. They were going to watch it anyway, and then they're like, "Damn, this is actually pretty damn good, bro! Like this is good
Mhm.
shit." So like it was more of a surprise and like something that was expected. So you really can't blame it on that as much either. Like you got to like put this in to a thing like Disney to me needs to open up and recognize like, bro, do good stories like this and you do a couple in a row and you're going to bring people back. And then
Yeah.
people might go back and watch where it started. Like, oh shit, Andor is probably what started this spark of like Star Wars being better or Star Wars being good or at least solid and everything else. But no, they're not going to take that from it. They're going to sit there and do some other bullshit, like straight up. Like I just don't have faith in them. I hope things change at the top and we can get more and more better stuff. I tell you right now, I don't even care what the story's about, but if Tony Gilroy, the guy who like ran the show and even wrote most of it, if I'm not mistaken, if he got a Star Wars project, like an actual film, I'd be kind of excited about it.
Yeah. Well,
I'd be excited about
what I like too about this show was that it's probably categorized as like a spy thriller,
it.
spy whatever. But it was really low key. Like there wasn't a lot of people involved. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Usually, when it's coming to taking down like a big network or whatever, you have all kinds of people working on it and stuff like that. But the rebellion didn't have shit really. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, they had a few people working behind the scenes, some people on other planets, talking, but it was all done like created by a few people, and that's what the show like showed off. I thought
Oh
that was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought everything was done. I think the worst thing about the show was the stupid ass like rebels that was on Yavin before it became Yavin.
Yeah,
Those they playing Rochambeau out there and then start getting eaten by. Bro, these people are stupid as hell. Like
yeah.
those guys were like so dumb that it kind of took me out of it a little bit when I was watching those first 3 episodes because how stupid they ass was. Like,
Adelia started watching the show late, and I was almost gonna tell her like, dude, you could just skip the first 3 episodes. Like they really have nothing to do with anything. You know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
don't. There's only a couple of things in there. Like I would say a little bit of the wedding and stuff like that, like needs to be told, like showing Mon Mothma's character, like realizing, oh shit, like this is for real. Like I can see a couple of points there that you could have added to some of the stuff that was going on in the other episodes or whatever, or maybe condense down, see like the first 3 episodes into like one episode with just like the important stuff in there instead of dragging it
Yeah,
out. Like never have Andor land on that planet, for instance, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Um, I think you could have did something like that and had some of those things. But I agree with you, man. Like I'd almost tell people, I don't care about the first 3 episodes.
yeah.
Watch the last 3, 6, 9 episodes because it was 12 episodes total. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Matt, dude, do you think we skipped anything there? Or is there anything you wanted to talk about, bring up about the show?
um, yeah. Like the closing of it, I thought was kind of cheesy when they were just showing like everyone like in slow mo, like just staring off. You know what I mean? But then when I saw Andor had a kid, I liked that. So I was glad they closed on that. That was a cool thing.
I actually like the montage because it is one of those shows like you were talking about. We kind of know the end of this character and all that. We know where they're headed, but having all the main characters that are still involved kind of in that thing where they're looking out into space, kind of like Luke Skywalker looking into the twin suns before he leaves Tatooine, kind of moment where you have the scene where Bix is walking off with a child and you have like there's those different characters and them you know kind of like knowing where they're going, where they're headed from here,
Yeah,
and seeing that kind of stuff is I've actually thought it was pretty good. Like I said, it's not the most exciting ending that you would have for a normal show, but this ain't a normal show about a normal character because of us knowing where everything goes and what's going to happen. So I think that's like a little bit different. I was all right. I was all right with the ending. In another kind of show, if it wasn't set up the same way, I would have a bigger issue probably with the ending and how it was done. But with this particular kind of show and the stuff it was talking about and setting up, like I really think it was cool. So like you end in that montage, you got all these people and you know where they're going to go and do what they're going to do, and then you go to Rogue One immediately and watch it. You're kind of like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well,
man.
I mean, I just liked when they started doing the montage when you saw Andor in his outfit from Rogue One. That's when I was
Yep.
like, oh shit, it's about to go down. Yeah.
It's
No,
about to
I overall
happen.
enjoyed it. Uh, I'd give the show overall probably like a 9. To be honest, it was really good.
Yeah, I give it I give it A minus just because I do think that first 3 episodes bring it down a little bit, but not enough to drop it out of the letter grade of A for me. I really thoroughly enjoyed the show. Glad I watched it at the same time, or at least around the same time as you, Matt. Man, it's been fun covering the show. It's been fun covering something that's good. Because, like I said, it's pretty crazy how this show started out like kind of low, and then it build up till the end. And then we're watching the other show, The Last of Us, and it was like a banger at the very beginning. Pretty damn awesome shit, crazy stuff
Yeah.
happening, really good stuff. And then it's kind of slowly falling down the hill. So it's like totally different. But I just want to give a shout out to class of 2025 right there.
Yep.
My son graduated yesterday. That's what it's kind of kept me a little busy here, more busy and everything with all that kind of stuff going on around here and having to do your job. But here's how it goes, man. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, Matt, for joining me on the reviews on this one right here. We knocked
Yep.
another one down. Another one ends. Kind of sad because they really can't do a season 3 of Andor. I don't know what the hell you could do with that.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, I guess they could have like threw in a season 3 of him leaving like he did, and him and K2SO actually trying to find where Jane Urso is what I figure he's on his way to do, to try to get her on the side to find out more information about this. But with that being said, may the force be with you. You can join everything, Patreon, Ko-Fi, join our Discord for free, do all that good stuff. We like watching stuff together and hanging out and talking about it, and all that good stuff. And join us for, we should have here in a few days, we're going to have we'll have an Iron Man 2 review out where we rewatched it. We'll also be having our review of the next episode of The Last of Us here in the next couple of days, where Matt also joins me on those as well.
Yep.
But until the next time, peace.